Let's imagine a scenario. You own a snack bar, and after many years of operation, your business finally stands out from your competitors. You have some very capable and trustworthy brothers under you, and you send the best one of them to open a branch in the downtown area 3 blocks away. He didn't disappoint you. The new store quickly became a great success and attracted constant customer flow into it. However, when you woke up one morning, your staff told you that your new store was raided by a competitor in the middle of the night. Your most trusted brother and his staff were all killed, and the new store was trashed. You know the local police are too weak to fight this competitor. What would you do? Hello everyone, welcome to Historically Accurate. The situation I just mentioned was basically what Liu Bei was facing at the age of 60. In 219 AD, Guan Yu, Liu Bei's most loyal and capable general, led the Jin province army and achieved great success in the northern expedition, wiping out the 7 Cao armies led by Yu Jin and besieging Xiangyang and Fancheng. However, Guan Yu's base, Jin province, was attacked by Sun Quan. In the end, Guan Yu and his son Guan Ping were defeated and killed, and Jin province was completely occupied by Sun Quan. See my videos Battle of Fancheng for more details. Liu Bei lost one of his most important partners, and nearly half of his territory and a large number of troops. To add insult to injury, Liu Bei lost another 3 very important talents in a row after Guan Yu's death. In 220 AD, Fa Zheng and Huang Zhong, the brilliant partners who performed exceptionally well in the Battle of Dingjun Mountain, died of illness. In 221 AD, Zhang Fei missed Guan Yu so much that he whipped his men to vent his emotions. As a result, he was killed in his sleep by his men. Although Liu Bei still had a lot of talents under him at that time, his forces were not stable internally. His forces were basically divided into 4 factions: Founding Member Faction, Jin Province Faction, Yi Province Faction, and Dongzhou Faction. The Founding Member Faction consisted of earliest followers of Liu Bei, including Guan Yu, Zhang Fei, and Zhao Yun. But with the death of Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, the influence of this faction was greatly reduced. The Jin Province faction, including Zhuge Liang, Pang Tong, Ma Liang, Huang Zhong, Wei Yan, and Zhuo Ying, were all talents recruited by Liu Bei during his 9 years of Jin Province. This faction had the most talents and was quite powerful. The Dongzhou faction was once under Liu Zhang, but many of its members were not native of Yi province. This faction surrendered to Liu Bei after Liu Zhang was defeated, and was also loyal to Liu Bei. It was represented by Fa Zheng, Li Yan, and Wu Ban. Finally, there is the Yi province faction, represented by Huang Quan, Yang Hong, Fei Shi, and Qiao Zhou. They were local clans in Yi province and represented the interests of the local people. The founding member faction was like a golden retriever, smart and loyal. The Jin province faction was like a German shepherd, loyal and good at fighting. These 2 factions were the most trusted by Liu Bei. The Dongzhou faction was more like a clingy cat, and Liu Bei had relatively trusted them. But since the death of Fa Zheng, the cat was not as clingy as before. While the Yi province faction was like a goat, disloyal and temperamental, often in disagreement with the master. The conflicts among these 4 factions were also deepening, threatening the stability within Liu Bei's forces. In addition to the internal factors, the awful external environment also put Liu Bei's newly established regime in danger of a collapse. Liu Bei had been facing 2 powerful enemies, Cao Cao and Sun Quan, after Jin province was seized by Sun Quan. Cao Cao occupied 9 of the 13 provinces in ancient China. Sun Quan occupied 3, and Liu Bei only had Yi province. Liu Bei's situation would be fine if Sun Quan and Cao Cao continued to antagonize each other. However, Sun Quan had already shown goodwill to Cao Cao after his sneak attack on Jin province, and Cao Cao made Sun Quan the Marquis of Nanchang in the name of the emperor. In early 220 AD, Cao Cao died and his son Cao Pi succeeded to the throne as the king of Wei. A few months later, Cao Pi forced the Emperor Xian of Han to abdicate and became emperor himself. In order to avoid fighting Liu Bei and Cao Pi at the same time, Sun Quan offered to become a vassal state of Cao Pi, and Cao Pi happily granted Sun Quan the title King of Wu. From then on, Cao Pi and Sun Quan formed a political alliance. You may ask, if Sun Quan could make peace with Cao Pi, why not Liu Bei? Actually, Liu Bei had already sent an emissary to pay his respect when Cao Cao died, which was a very rare gesture of goodwill to Wei by Liu Bei. By doing this, Liu Bei was hoping that Wei would not attack him if he ever had a war with Sun Quan in the future. However, Cao Pi ordered the local officials to kill the emissary soon after he entered Wei. It is like after fighting with your wife, you are going to knock the bedroom door and make up with her. After all, you don't want to sleep on the couch all the time. But she threw a cup at you when the door was just open halfway and the cup hit you right in the forehead. To make matters worse, after Cao Pi became emperor, the legitimacy of Liu Bei's political group was greatly shaken. Since Liu Bei had been fighting under the banner of supporting the Han imperial family, but now the Han imperial family had given up the position of emperor to Cao Pi, so naturally there was no longer a need for Liu Bei's support. In addition, Sun Quan granted Liu Zhang the title governor of Yi province after seizing Jin province, which also showed that he disagreed with the legitimacy of Liu Bei's occupation of Yi province. At the same time, he made Liu Zhang live in Zigui, a place very close to Yi province, to attract the goats, who hated Liu Bei, from Yi province to join Liu Zhang, in order to shake Liu Bei's rule in Yi province. Liu Bei was on the verge of life and death. If Cao Pi and Sun Quan joined forces to attack him, he would surely be defeated and there would be no escape. Looking back on Liu Bei's life, we can tell that he had never suffered such a major blow. He had often lost all his territories, but his most important brothers had always followed him, and he was able to recruit new talents under the glorious banner of supporting the Han imperial family. But now, he was faltering in terms of territory, talents, military strength, and even his proudest political legitimacy. So how did Liu Bei resolve these crises? The first to address is the legitimacy of the regime. Legitimacy is like your license to open a snack bar. Without this license, your potential customers will suspect that your snack bar is not clean and that you will run away from legal punishments if your food makes the customers sick. So how did Liu Bei get his stolen license back? In ancient China, there were several ways to legitimately obtain the emperor's throne. The first way was by inheritance. The second way was by abdication. And the third way was by declaring oneself emperor, but only if the previous emperor was widely believed to be an asshole. Emperor Xian of Han voluntarily abdicated the throne and was made Duke of Shanyang after Cao Pi became emperor. Cao Pi also married his two daughters, thus ensuring his dignity and a comfortable life. Although Emperor Xian of Han had lost his real power long ago during Cao Cao's time, this abdication process was completely legitimate. Liu Bei could only break the situation by making Cao Pi's rule illegitimate. At that time, a rumor spread to Yi province that Cao Pi had killed Emperor Xian of Han and declared himself emperor. Liu Bei immediately took advantage of this rumor and propagandized it, and the civil and the military officials began to condole on the death of Emperor Xian of Han. Meanwhile, officials from all over Yi province started to report xiangrui, auspicious signs, to Liu Bei, such as the discovery of a yellow dragon in Chi River of Wuyang, someone encountering all green lights on the way in the morning, and so on. Discovering xiangrui was an essential process before becoming an emperor. It meant that the god was satisfied with your rule. Then, the civil and military officials could persuade Liu Bei to become emperor. This persuasion process was also very particular. The officials needed to persuade Liu Bei twice, and Liu Bei pretended to refuse twice. It was not until the officials persuaded him for the third time that Liu Bei could agree to become emperor. When you invite your Chinese friends to dinner in the future and ask them if they want some more, if they say no, you can try asking twice more. Based on the circumstances, I believe Liu Bei hated this process very much. It was not because he had been wanting to become emperor for many years and couldn't wait, but because his regime was in danger of falling apart if he didn't become emperor right away. In April 221 AD, after finishing this annoying process, Liu Bei successfully became emperor and his kingdom was named Han, which historians call Shu Han, and his civil and military officials were finally given various formal positions and titles, which helped Liu Bei reassure his people. After cleaning up the mess at home, Liu Bei could finally free his hands to deal with external threats. In the novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Liu Bei's war against Sun Quan was entirely to avenge Guan Yu, but was it really just that? After losing Qin province, Liu Bei only had Yi province left, while his enemies had a total of 12 provinces. Liu Bei was already over 60 at that time. If he didn't do anything, his son would only inherit one province after he died. His son wouldn't be able to compete against Cao Pi and Sun Quan and would eventually be eliminated by them. Therefore, Liu Bei had to expand to break the situation. Politically speaking, it clearly made more sense to attack Cao Pi, who had declared himself emperor. Cao Pi took the Han throne from the Liu family, but unlike his father, Cao Cao, he didn't have the capabilities to keep the overall situation under control, so it seemed like a good choice to attack him. But attacking Wei required climbing over many huge mountains and transporting provisions over a much longer distance than when attacking Hanzhong, which was quite difficult. And if Sun Quan attacked from the east of Yi province, Liu Bei would be in danger of being destroyed. But if Liu Bei attacked Sun Quan, he wouldn't have to worry too much about Cao Pi attacking from the north of Yi province, because Yi province was a place that was easy to defend and hard to attack. There were many barriers and passes in the north that could easily block any incoming enemy. He could also take the waterway down the Yangtze River and rush all the way to the lower reaches, so it was relatively easier to march and transport provisions. In addition, besides avenging Guan Yu, Liu Bei must at least retake Jing province in order to match Cao Pi and Sun Quan in strength. Liu Bei had many talents from Jing province, which was occupied by Sun Quan. This greatly damaged the morale of Liu Bei's forces. Also, Liu Bei guessed that if he started a war against Sun Quan, and Cao Pi could attack Sun Quan from the north at the same time, he could even destroy Sun Quan with Cao Pi and divide up Sun Quan's territory. Due to these reasons, Liu Bei decided to start a war against Sun Quan, take back his branch snack bar, and avenge the branch manager Guan Yu. Although Liu Bei had made his final decision, new difficulties arose. First of all, the strength of Liu Bei's navy had dropped significantly due to the death of Guan Yu, while navy was essential to attack Sun Quan down the river. Secondly, Liu Bei no longer had any highly competent tactician and military general to use after the successive deaths of Pang Tong, Fa Zheng, Huang Zhong, and Zhang Fei. So who else could Liu Bei use? If young generals were used, would they perform as well as Chen Shi and Gao Xiang did in Hanzhong campaign? Due to time limit, I will have to leave these questions for my next video. If you like my videos, please like, subscribe, and share them. If you have any thoughts and suggestions, please leave your comments below. See you next time!